how Jacob Grimm reconstructed the name Ōstara. Now, before we begin, Jacob Grimm was a Germanic linguist. He is the author of a well-known book called Teutonic Mythology, volumes 1 to 4, and in that, the name Ostara appears. There are people that think that, Ōstara is an invention created by Grimm. He invented the name out of thin air. Well, this video is going to go over how Jacob Grimm reconstructed the name. He did not make it out of thin air. There is historical linguistic evidence to back him up. How he came to the conclusion of reconstructing the name as we see here of Ostara. Now, the name Ostara is Old High German. In order to understand Old High German and how the language functions, one needs something called a primer, or primer if you will, or a grammar book. I say this in all of my videos, especially on my other channel, Lernende Altenglish, that if you're going to learn any old language, especially Old English and even Old High German, you're going to need a book like this that can explain to you how the language works and whatnot, and its functions, and how to decline nouns and inflections and conjugations of verbs and all that fun stuff. But now, so having said that, we're going to use this as a tool as to how Grimm reconstructed Ōstara. Now, this particular primer is written by a well-known man named Joseph Wright, who was the same man who tutored Tolkien, believe it or not. But let us move on. Here we have the attested Ōstar, and as you can see here, it's indicated as an adverb, meaning to the east or in the east. So given this adverb of Ōstar, what I think Grimm has done, he has taken this adverb Ōstar and smacked a final A denoting a female agent. Just as, for example, we have sunna in Old High German, meaning the sun, but this is the feminine form. Should there be a masculine form, it would end with an O, sunno. Sunna, feminine, sunno, masculine, okay? In the context of grammar, these two nouns would be declined in the weak declension, okay? Here we have a few tables that shows how the weak declension is declined. Okay, because thing is, in languages like Old High German, nouns are in the categories of strong and weak. So we have the final A for the neuter and the feminine. So, but particularly, I would like you guys to focus on the feminine because that's what we're going to be dealing with in this video. Now, let's take a moment, and of course, we're still looking at the weak declension of the neuter and feminine. Okay, so why is herza and zunga are used? These are model nouns to be used as a way to. So if you see a word that ends with an A, and let's say it ends with an A and it's a neuter noun, given this example, the linguist in question would know how to decline that word. Now, let's take a look at these inflections now. So we have, starting with the feminine, we have zunga, then we have zungun, 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 zungono, and zungon, and zungon. And then we have the herza, herzen, herzin, herzen, herzin, herzun, herzon, herzono, and so forth, okay? So this is a key thing to remember because we're going to look into, how Grimm got Ōstara. Moving on. Well, what do we have here? Ōstarun, Ōstarun, Ōstrun. Now, the first entry here, we have Ōstarun and Ōstarun. It says here, weak, feminine, masculine, plural. Okay? Then the second one says weak, feminine, plural. So given the attested words of Ōstarun and Ōstrun, especially Ōstrun is declined, as states here, weak, feminine, plural. And what do we have here with the example Zunga? with its plural, is Tsungun, and that's feminine as well. So, again, with the Ōstarun, it'd be the same thing. That's why it says feminine there, given the other feminine plural we see below it. So, given this, for this to be in the singular, uninflected nominative form, it would take just the final A. So, therefore, Ōstara or Ōstara is the most likely to be the form of this word to be its uninflected nominative singular. So moving on, so with Grimm's reconstruction, he essentially took the adverb of Ōstar, smacked onto a final A denoting a weak neuter or feminine agent, and hence Ōstara. If we were to translate Ōstara literally, it'd be something like she who is to the east, or she who is in the east. It's like to the east, and like to the east one, but that one is that one is feminine. So if you were to translate this literally, it'd be something along those lines. But final A like this also denotes a name. To give you a few examples of Old High German female names, here we have Godeberta, Got Berga, etc. So the final A is not only just making a feminine noun, feminine or neuter noun, it's also to indicate a female personal name too. This isn't out of thin air, because in Old English we have Ēastere. Please for the accent, the accent or the macron should be on the first vowel, not the second. Anyway, moving on. So here we go. We have Ēastere, and it's a neuter noun, and it's in the weak. It's a weak noun because it ends with an E. Yeah, weak nouns in Old English, for masculine they end with A, for neuter and feminine they end with E. But in the case of Old High German, just to go back, in Old High German, weak nouns end with O for masculine, A for neuter and feminine. Okay? Given the historical linguistic evidence provided in this video, it seems highly likely that Jacob Grimm's reconstruction of Ōstara, and if you will, Ōstara as another form, are likely reconstructions of the name Ēastere in the Old High German context. I think it's very likely that there would have been a dawn goddess in the Germanic culture, if you will, because just as water is wet everywhere, just as every culture has a dawn. Further, if you do your research and look into the word east itself, it goes back to a Proto-Indo-European word that means dawn. Why wouldn't there be a dawn goddess called Ostara? Just as in Old English you have Ēastere, just as in the Vedic we have Ushas, just as in the Roman we have Aurora, just as in the Greek we have Eos. Why wouldn't there be a dawn goddess in the Germanic context? But some people, when they get into this stuff, especially with Germanic spirituality and whatnot, I mean, you have people that only focus on what is attested, and we can't assume. I would say we can't assume that just because we can't find it doesn't mean they didn't have it. Well, some people would say, we don't have sources that there was an Ōstara, therefore there was no Ōstara. Well, we can't say that. We can't conclude that. We don't know whether, it could very well be that maybe there was one worshipped Ōstara, but that devotion to the goddess had died out. I don't know. I wasn't there. You weren't there. But I would think, given the other Indo-European cognates, given the nature of essentially natural law, dharma, water is wet everywhere, 1 + 1 = 2 everywhere, likely that there would have been a dawn goddess, given what we have from Old English of Ēastere, and from Bede saying that the month of April is called Easter month, it's very likely that there would have been a dawn goddess called Ēastere in Old English, Ōstara in Old High German. Anyway, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, and if you really like this channel, please become a patron on my Patreon page down below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.